Saturday, June 7th. Winston Churchill receives a message from his son, Randolph, who is visiting Cairo as a member of Parliament. The Prime Minister's son tells him that big changes are required in the region's military command structure. The Minister of Aircraft Production, William Maxwell Aitken, Lord Beaverbrook, declares in the House of Commons that the invasion of Britain is imminent. The Romanian government declares its intention of keeping out of the war. King Boris III of Bulgaria visits Hitler at his residence of Obersalzberg in the Bavarian Alps. They discuss the details of the invasion of the Soviet Union. Cordell Hull, the United States Secretary of State, denies reports claiming that the Japanese ambassador in Washington, Kichisaburo Nomura, has proposed the signing of a U.S.-Japanese non-aggression pact similar to that between Japan and Russia. The American ambassador in Britain, John Winant, after meeting with Vice President Henry Wallace, declares that the RAF has gained superiority in the skies over Britain, but the situation at sea is precarious. In North Africa, British planes attack Rommel's forces stationed in Benghazi in Libya. Sunday, June 8th. In the United States, the armed forces received the first units of the long-range fighter plane Lockheed P-38 Lightning. In the Middle East, the commander-in-chief of the Allied troops, Archibald Wavell, orders Operation Exporter. From Palestine, French forces loyal to Charles de Gaulle and commanded by General Catrot and Commonwealth troops led by Henry M. Wilson invade Syria and Lebanon, protectorates of the Vichy regime. Both Catrot and Wilson have been instructed to try to negotiate with the enemy. More than 4,000 soldiers of the Vichy army under General Henri Dents joined the invading forces, while British planes dropped thousands of pamphlets urging the French Vichy forces to abandon Marshal Pétain and join the fight against Nazi Germany. However, Pétain's troops, entrenched and well-armed, stand their ground. Among those fighting in the campaign is the young Palestinian Jew Moshe Dayan, who loses his left eye in a blast of shrapnel. Later, he will become Chief of Staff of the Israeli Army in the Six-Day War in 1967 and Foreign Minister. In North Africa, German planes heavily bombed the British base of Alexandria in Egypt. Monday, June 9th. In the Netherlands, the funeral of Kaiser Wilhelm II takes place. Hitler has allowed a small-scale military ceremony with a guard of honor led by the Commissar of the Reich in occupied Holland, Dr. Seyss Inquart, who places a wreath on the grave in the name of the Führer. The body of the Kaiser is buried in a mausoleum on the grounds of his estate of Wie Doorn in Dutch territory. General Eduard Wagner, the Quartermaster General of the OKH, the High Command of the Army, again informs von Braustich and Franz Halder of his concerns about the difficulty of supplying an army in Russia. Wagner warns of the logistical complexities, the huge distances, and the extreme weather conditions involved in Operation Barbarossa. However, most of the German commanders are optimistic and his warnings are ignored. In the United States, Roosevelt orders the Army to occupy the factories of North American aviation, whose workers have been on strike for several days, considering the situation to be detrimental to the country's defense. In the Middle East, Allied troops take the port of Tyre in southern Lebanon, while RAF aircraft attack the airdromes of Aleppo and Damascus in Syria. In Iraq, the new pro-British government is set up. Tuesday, June 10th. In Italy, Benito Mussolini declares that the United States will enter the war too late and will only manage to extend it, but will not be able to save Britain. He also claims that their ally, Japan, will not stand aside if any of the Axis countries are attacked. In London, Winston Churchill informs Parliament that British losses in Crete amount to 15,000 men, either dead, injured, or disappeared, without taking into account Greek and civilian losses. But what has happened in Crete cannot be compared with what would happen in an invasion of Britain, he says. In the Middle East, British forces land at Sidon in southern Lebanon, 50 kilometers from Beirut, while in Syria, the front line is only 25 kilometers from Damascus. The well-equipped French armies loyal to the Vichy government try to repel the Allied forces, but they are forced to fall back. In East Africa, British forces launch an offensive against the Italians in the Gala region to the southeast of Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Wednesday, June 11th. Hitler issues Directive 32, in which he lays out his plans for the armed forces after the rendition of Soviet Russia. The Nazi leader states that the German army must secure the Atlantic coast of Spain and Portugal, expel the British from Gibraltar, and take the Middle East and the Suez Canal. But the main priority will be the invasion of Britain. In Moscow, Semyon Timoshenko, the People's Commissar for Defense, and Georgy Zhukov, chief of the Red Army General Staff, call on Stalin to reinforce the western borders and place the troops on maximum alert. However, the communist leader is still convinced that Hitler will not risk attacking Russia and opening a war on two fronts. In Washington, President Roosevelt, reporting to Congress on the Lend-Lease Act, states that $75 million worth of armaments have been transferred to Britain. In the Middle East, a naval engagement takes place off the coast of Beirut, in which several units of the Royal Navy face destroyers of the Vichy French fleet. French planes attack the port of Haifa in northern Palestine. Thursday, June 12th.
In the 22nd month,
Winston Churchill, speaking to the British people over the radio, declares that Britain will make every effort to prevent Hitler from carrying out his policies of repression.
in order to proclaim the high purposes and resolves of the lawful constitutional governments of Europe.
Meanwhile, RAF aircraft heavily bombed the Ruhr Basin, particularly the cities of Duisburg and Bochum. In Munich, Hitler meets with Marshal Antonescu, who offers his support in the coming invasion of Russia. According to the Romanian dictator, his people want to take revenge on the Soviets and are determined to recover the regions of Bessarabia and northern Bukovina. Furthermore, he is convinced that the Red Army will not offer significant resistance as it longs to be rid of Stalin. In Moscow, Lavrenti Beria, the head of the Soviet Secret Service, the NKVD, presents the High Command of the Army information regarding the Luftwaffe's plans in Operation Barbarossa. Ships of the Kriegsmarine begin to mobilize to prepare for the invasion of the Soviet Union and lay the first mines in the Baltic Sea. In the Mediterranean, intense air fights take place over Malta. In East Africa, the port of Assab in southern Eritrea is occupied by Royal Navy forces after being abandoned by the Italians. In Abyssinia, Ethiopia, in the region of Gondor, west of Amba Alagi, the British continue to put pressure on the Italian troops defending Debre Tabor.